Welcome back to the Name Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. I came into this particular episode with a lot of things to say about a particular set of topics. And then Tyler, associate producer over at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Is that still your official title right now?
That is my official title.
Associate producer over at 98.5 The Sports Hub comes in with an email of topics. I forgot about some of this shit. I totally forgot about John Henry's comments. I forgot about those. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Noah Song stuff. Obviously, we're going to talk about Triston Casas, a couple of different things in regards to Triston Casas. Brian Bayo, forearm tightness. Dustin Pedroia showed up to spring training. I'm going to call Cotillo. He doesn't know that I'm calling him. Chris Cotillo will be joining the program. And if he doesn't, he will be suspended for the rest of the season. Jake, tweet that out. At some point during tonight's recording, I will be calling Chris Cotillo to talk about the Triston Casas story that he put out today. If he does not answer or call back, put out if he doesn't answer. But it's really, if he doesn't answer or call back during the time of the recording, he's suspended for the entire season.
Yeah, make it more threatening. Like, try to scare him, please, yeah. Jake.
Also, Sam Kennedy gave a vote of confidence to Chaim Bloom. Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Sounded.
These people don't want to hear the positivity horn. They don't want to hear it in February. But Sam Kennedy gave a vote of confidence to Chaim Bloom. He's not getting fired today. He's not getting fired tomorrow. He's not getting fired at the All-Star break. He might not get fired ever, Tyler. He may never get fired. Hit me again.
Please.
He may never get fired, Tyler. He may keep his job in Boston forever. Chaim Bloom, lifelong extension to make all the decisions for the Boston Red Sox. Not just some of them, not just most of them, all of them. Chaim Bloom has been given the vote of confidence by Sam Kennedy. And there's plenty of topics. Where do you want to start? I'll let you pick where we start.
Ooh. Do we want to go right into the Triston Casas stuff? Should we go for Cotillo or should we hit earlier stuff in the week? The Verdugo extension.
Did you tweet it out, Jake?
Quote unquote.
I'm tweeting it right now, so maybe let's do something else first.
All right, start with something. Jake's going to tweet that out so to put him on notice. Obviously, he's on Twitter. What else would he be doing right now? Like, he has no friends. He's obviously not in a relationship. No one's like asking him to like go to dinner or anything. So he'll see this tweet, and by the time we're done with the first topic, then we can kind of dive into it.
All right, let's do the John Henry. Let's do his comments to what? Jen McCaffrey of The Athletic, and Sean McAdam of Boston Sports Journal.
Yep.
Let's go Red Sox! Let's go Red Sox! Let's go Red Sox!
Go Red Sox!
And what was your favorite part of the John Henry to Jen McCaffrey quotes?
I would probably say the big thing to me was him saying that the reporters didn't talk about the standing ovation at Winter Weekend. When he said that, and I went back, I had to, Jared, because you were there. Now, I wasn't able to watch.
Could not be more there.
If you go back and you look, the last two people to speak were Alex Cora, who's, kind of getting you hyped up, reminding you why. I believe he mentioned 2013. He's saying not to sleep on the team. Tom Caron starts talking about life before 2004 and how much the last 2 decades have shaped Red Sox fans to be hopeful. And then they clap. Somehow John Henry took that and believed it was for him, despite him only getting booed every time he opened his mouth.
I will openly admit, I don't remember much of it. Like, I blacked a lot of it out because as I ask a question, I'm not really listening to your response because I'm already thinking of what I'm going to ask next. So I'm not really listening. I will say, gun to my head, I don't really remember much of anything that John Henry said. I just remember there was one part where he said owning a baseball team is hard because baseball players are expensive, which I believe they edited out of the Nesson version of this.
Correct.
He was more or less like, owning a baseball team sucks. And I totally agree. Baseball players, super expensive. I couldn't afford to pay a single guy in the league. I couldn't do it. I don't think anyone on this show could do it. It's tough. It's hard to pay those salaries. 100%. But to say that there was some sort of standing ovation at the end, that it was any type of like, hey, we started this thing off on rocky terms, but by the end of it, we brought the house down. People were super stoked, and the crowd went home happy. I don't know that was what happened. I think
it didn't.
No, I think the crowd obviously was very pro Cora. And he came off awesome in all of this. Like, I think time was fair. I think he came from a place of logic and reason. Whether or not you agree with the logic and reason, that's fine. But at least he had answers for the questions that he was being asked. I think John Henry did not come off super great. I think there were some tone deaf answers in there. And if you have Cora go last, of course that's going to be the crowd pleaser because people love Cora. People love and he can say things with conviction and without going too over the top. Like, he wasn't like, see you in the World Series, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't saying anything like that. But, he was putting a positive spin on what the situation was, and it didn't sound like bullshit, and it sounded sincere. That was, if there were any cheers at all, that's what they were for. It had nothing to do with John Henry.
And you can't pick two more likable people than Alex Cora and Tom Caron. Like, could you ever even, like, Tom Caron wrapped it up. Could you say anything that's, going to lead to booing from
that? That was an outrageous thing that you just fucking said.
What?
What? I was up there too.
Jared, were you the last person to speak?
I was the first person to speak. I was the table setter.
So clearly that wasn't at the end, which we're talking about.
Tom Caron was like, okay, like, any final thoughts, which I didn't know that we were doing final thoughts. He's like, any final thoughts? Like, what do you got to say to this crowd? In my head, I'm like, whew. Shit. What a night, guys. Am I right? What I said, though, was more or less like, it's January and there was just a snowstorm and you guys drove 2 hours to be here. Like, that's pretty cool. Talk about baseball in the middle of January.
Yeah.
Like,
and I do think, we'll talk about it a little later. Some of the people saying, spring training, nobody showed up. They're counting it on NBC Sports Boston with Dan Shaughnessy. But really, my main takeaway from all of this was, like, many people were like, John Henry's delusional. Like, these statements come off very delusional. I do think there was some credit, like him saying the narratives. If you read through the Boston Sports Journal piece as well, the narrative was that they don't spend, that they're Tampa Bay, right? They're fielding these payrolls that are so ridiculously low, they make the game look bad. He's right on that front, right? Like, the Red Sox are spending. Now, are they going to the level of the Mets? No. And he said they'll never have a $300 million payroll. That's not their goal. But yeah, they're spending very close to the luxury tax this year. Last year, they went over it. They're not acting like a poverty franchise. Do we wish they pushed farther ahead in a year where they went over the luxury tax last year? Yeah, of course. But I think that was the narrative. The other thing was him saying that basically he never got booed at all during the Winter Classic, which was also outrageous because everyone who was there said that definitely happened. And we saw outside the ballpark, he was getting like chirped for people about Rafael Devers. So,
hey, Devers!
It was crazy. Those were the two delusional statements. Do I think his comments about the Red Sox spending had some validity? I do, a little bit. But it just came off very sassy. Like, the whole Jen McCaffrey thing, like the Xander Bogaerts component. Oh, do you think you should have done anything different with Xander? Oh, we should have offered him 12 years. All right, now you're kind of laughing at me. You're clowning on me to my face right now, right? Like, that's where you sit there and you're like, okay, like, give me some transparency. Say, hey, we should have handled this better. And the Boston Sports Journal piece was like, I love Xander. It hurt me more than anyone. Just say you messed up. Do you realize how far that would go with Red Sox fans if you were just like, hey, we fucked up. We should have went about it a better way. Instead, you're like treating it like a punchline. It's never going to go well. And that's why when it comes to kind of John Henry, you realize they don't want him talking and he shouldn't be talking. Because anytime he's sending emails. How do you fuck up an email? Like,
who did he send an email to?
So Jen McCaffrey and a bunch of outlets, Dan Shaughnessy as well, were able to send questions to him. That's kind of how it all played out. And he picked just those two publications to answer. He left everyone out to dry.
So he picked the Globe.
No, he turned down the Globe.
He turned down the Globe.
Yup. Dan Shaughnessy said he sent a bunch of questions from him and fans and that they never got a response back.
Mm.
And I'll tell you, the whole theme of kind of trolling and laughing at you, not only when they asked the Red Sox about where they stand, he goes, well, compare our rings to everybody else during our period as ownership. He's like, you'll see everyone go through ups and downs, but no one's matching us. So he's telling you, kiss the rings. Like that's straight up kiss the rings. He's telling you, Xander Bogaerts, I'm not going to apologize. We could have offered him 12 years. Let's laugh about it. Not great. And then Sam Kennedy doubled down talking to Bradford and goes, hey, John Henry and Tom Warner are around. You can reach out to us for comment. You can send an email and get answers, or just run into us and we can have an interaction. And Bradford blood boiled like when they said that. So I've taken it as, from Sam Kennedy to John Henry to Tom Warner, they're saying we don't really give a fuck what people have to say right now.
They don't.
And I think we're seeing let's go back to Dombrowski Charrington where they caved following, what happened with Charrington and everything. This time around, they're just leaning in that direction. They're not willing. They're like, we're going to stick to it. We've told you we're waiting for these minor leaguers. We're treating it like a bridge year. And we don't really give a fuck because if you have a problem, look at the rings. That's how I read all of this. If you look at all their statements here, which is not, there should be some transparency here without a doubt, especially on the Bogart stuff.
Definitely.
But they're just leaning into it, which somewhat surprising, but also at the same time, it comes off tone deaf, like we've been saying.
Definitely. It definitely comes off tone deaf. I think there's some validity to what they're saying, though, where if you're John Henry and you've got all these people being like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing and blah, blah, he can easily turn around and say, I have won more championships than any other team in this fucking sport since I bought your pathetic franchise. It was a pathetic franchise before I showed up.
Poverty.
I fixed your shitty ballpark. I took your shitty playoff hopeful team and made them a 4-time World Series title winner. There's no other team that has that many since I showed up at your doorstep. So suck my 96-year-old cock is what he should say. But on the flip side, and this is a good thing, he has created a culture where we now expect championships. Before, the narrative was, please just let me see one before I die. And now, if you go longer than 5 or 6 years without a championship, people will call for your job. They will tell you to sell the team. They will say, knock down the ballpark. They will say, move the team to Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It is a completely different environment now than it was when John Henry first showed up. But you can look at that and say, those are good things. Like, it doesn't feel good to have people say, sell the team. You're a cheap fuck. You don't know what you're doing. You're old and senile. It's time to move on. Fire Heim Bloom. Those things don't feel good. But they've created a monster, which ironically was the name of the book that they wrote after Seth Manoogian Feeding the Monster. And that's what they were talking about. The monster was this culture that they've created. The monster wasn't the green monster. The monster was, listen, we've now created an environment where championships aren't just a pipe dream. Let me see one. It is an expectation. And I don't think that anyone is expecting a championship this year, but I think that everyone is infuriated. Or on the other end of the spectrum, there's a lot of apathy right now, which isn't great, especially for people like us. You would rather have fans be pissed off, and it's like, I want to be in contention. And I saw, I think it was it Cotillo that had the tweet where he was talking to Bradford about like the MLB Network top 100 players and how the Red Sox only had one on the entire list. And he was saying along the lines of, when is the last time that the Red Sox had this like lacking of a star power? Like, when is the last time that they've lacked star power this much? I can't think of a time in my life. I mean, Nomar comes up in 96, rookie of the year in 97. You bring in Pedro in 98. 99, we all know what happened then. Manny comes in. A couple of years later, you've got Ortiz. Pedroia in 06 comes up. MVP in 08. Lester, another guy, star. And then you go right down to the last couple of years of David Ortiz. Mookie Betts comes up. Xander Bogaerts comes up in 13. When is the last time that the Red Sox haven't had multiple stars?
Yeah,
it's pre-Nomar. Because then even before that, you got Nomar comes up in 96. The year before that, you've got Mo Vaughn winning the MVP in 95. It's been a long time since you could look at this team and be like, we have multiple stars. You don't have that right now. Rafael Devers.
Even if you look at 2021, like let's look at the last time there was a legit bridge year where they chose to stay under the luxury tax. Like JD was in the top 100. Xander, obviously, I think Raffy was as well. And I'm missing someone else who was in the top 100 at that point. I don't know why. It's
in 21.
Yeah, in 2021, that was on MLB Network's top 100 or whatever it was. Now that I'm blanking on it, I'll pull it up. I saw Cotillo posted earlier, but that's where you are, and
Was
it's
Schwarber
a weird.
in there?
I don't think they counted him. I'm pretty sure they didn't.
But he should have been top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
But that's where you sit, and it is a hard thing to kind of tell people and convince them. Yeah, so it was entering 2022. It was Devers, Bogaerts, Story, and JDM. So like I think you look at it here, right? It's a little complicated. Trevor Story, if he is Trevor Story and he's right, you should have a little bit more, but he's out for a majority of the year. But they're telling you, and this is the first time they've outwardly said it, it's about the prospects. Like they're waiting for Triston Casas to put himself in that top 100. They're hoping Brian Bayo and Whitlock and maybe Helk, who knows, right? All
Miguel
establish
Blaze.
Congrats to him.
Maloney is absolutely all over Blaze down there.
I'm telling you, top 20 prospect in all baseball per Fangraphs top 100, which is a beautiful sight.
Get in early. Get in early. Buy stock.
The next great international star for the Red Sox. If you want the Red Sox to have a Julio Rodriguez, or maybe, I'm not going to say the next Mookie Betts, but someone that has that kind of crazy athleticism, he has the best shot out of it.
Rafaela?
I do like Rafael a lot. I do think there's some chasing stuff he needs to work on, but word is he has worked on it this offseason.
So he's young. He has a hell of a swing. I didn't like everything that you hear about this guy is about defense and being a wizard in center field.
Plus.
But you look at him taking some hacks in the cage. I was looking at that video. I was like, this guy doesn't look like he's got no stick.
No, he 20 homers last year. Like he can do it. It's not the fact that he's some scrub that just plays defense and that's it. Like, no, it's just he needs to work on the plate approach a little. And he knows that. He worked on it all off season. It was a big thing at the rookie development program, but that's what the Red Sox are banking on. They're telling you, hey, we're going to wait for this next wave. We're going to let it play out. We're not going to go along the lines of a bunch of panic signings like we did at other points. Even last decade where you fall into Pablo and Hanley and these other things. They're like, no, we're going to kind of sit back here and spread the money out to everyone, and we'll have a team with a limited ceiling. And hopefully by the end of 2023, you can look at us and say, all right, I see the foundation. That's a hard pill to swallow for people. That's a hard pill, John Henry, when you traded Mookie Betts and you told people, hey, I know this hurts right now, but trust me, I'm not going to put you through something like this again. And then go ahead.
Well, good. No, you go ahead.
But then you go and Xander Bogaerts, you have a chance to get him for 5 years, 150. Jose Altuve extension, and you blow that. And not only do you blow that, by the way, you mess up the luxury tax as well, where you decide to stay over, you stay away from a lot of the upper tier free agents. Bogaerts gets completely overwhelmed and gets a ridiculous contract from the Padres, and now you have to justify why you're not pushing forward. This isn't a championship year. And like you said, you built up this beast that wants a World Series. When you go from an ALCS in 2021 that was as loud and people were as hyped as we've ever seen to mediocrity last year, and then this year, low expectations and a low ceiling for a roster, you need transparency. You got to be a little more understanding. You can't kind of just be like, kiss the ring. That I get it. I understand where they're coming from, but it's not going to go a long way with the fan base that's upset with you.
No, it's a good problem to have. Like, you should want the fans to be like, what the fuck? Then you get a problem. If they don't care, that's a problem. People care.
Exactly. And the thing is, you can only, you have another bad year this year. You can only tell them to piss off so many times before that interest starts to come down and down and down.
Yeah, we're what, 5 years removed now from 2018? Like, you can't just be like, hey, we just won one. We're talking about half a decade. You're going to set the precedent. You're going to set the standard that, hey, we win a championship every 5 years. But guess what? 5 years is up, John. It's time to win a fucking championship. But before, let's talk about a championship beer really quick. Let's talk about Blue Moon.
Ooh.
And you know what I'm going to do right now, Tyler?
What are you going to do?
I'm not going to do this ad read. Jake's going to do it.
Please,
And
no.
He's going to do it. In
Jake, don't do
post-production.
it.
Going to do it in
Please.
post-production because I don't want you to hear it yet. That's my favorite thing, is going back and listening to the show and seeing what Jake did for the ad read.
It hurts. Painful.
It should. You know what else is painful?
Yeah. Listening to Tyler talk about anything besides the Red Sox. Spare me, Tyler. Spare me. Spring training is here, which means baseball is finally back. Blue Moon gives you a dose of ballpark nostalgia to get you excited for the baseball season. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark at the Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado. Its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring weather. Tyler, why don't you talk to us about any past experiences or great memories you've had while enjoying a Blue Moon? I don't really remember anything besides watching the Red Sox and jerking off into my socks in high school. Yeah, I was really looking more for something like, oh, I like to have a nice cold Blue Moon at Fenway Park when I'm watching the Red Sox, but really just went the jerk-off route there. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one-of-a-kind? Best served with a signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color, a beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Bring the ballpark to you for spring training. Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind, every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale.
You've reached Chris Cotillo of MassLive.com. Sorry I missed your call. I'll try to get back.
What do you think happened there?
What do you think happened?
Do you think he bitch? I don't know if he bitch buttoned or what. Do you think he bitch buttoned?
Listen, I don't know what his excuse is.
He just texted me and said, try again. Okay.
Oh.
See, I stayed patient there. I didn't get upset.
I lost it a little. I'm sorry.
I didn't get upset.
At long last, the ban is over.
Yeah, well, we almost just suspended you for the entire season. Did you see the tweet?
No.
Okay, well, Jake, what's the tweet say?
It says, Jared will be calling Chris Cotillo at some point during the podcast tonight. If he does not answer, he will be suspended from the show for the rest of the season.
Good work, Chris.
Oh, what a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on being welcome back to the show. Congratulations on nearly avoiding a year-long suspension. Where are you right now?
I am just sat down at a nice restaurant, Cantina 109 in Fort Myers, beautiful Fort Myers, Florida, the city that always sleeps.
It always sleeps. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there on Saturday.
Okay, I'm leaving on Sunday.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's tremendous.
yeah, that's exactly how we should have it.
Yeah, I will give you credit though. I feel like you, in the last, call it 6 months, 5 months, you've been kind of like the go-to guy for Red Sox information on the beat.
Bangers only. That's the new strategy for stories.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know what changed. Like, I feel like Heim has made you his go-to guy. Like, you're putting out quotes that aren't there from press conferences. Like, you're just reaching out to him, I guess, directly and being like, hey, this is on the record. Are you good with that? And then tweeting out these paragraphs.
Well, once I got suspended, I was like, I got to really work my ass off to get back on the show, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the funding from the Times has been there. Got to thank the good people down in Mexico City who have been making it happen.
Yep.
And, you know, I mean, the thing with that is he's just been very accessible. So reach out and see if he's wanted to talk. He was great after, Bogarts left. So it's and then basically even like today's thing, Casas was a great quote and really opened up. So good for him.
So obviously that's the story that we're calling about today. Casas, in my experience, has been very hit or miss. Sometimes he's super open and he'll just speak his mind. And then I've heard other times he just has no interest in speaking at all. So what has your history with him been to where you got this story where he kind of talked about like the Clubhouse culture last year? Because as you and I both know, there are some individuals who contributed to that culture last year that are still here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's weird to have a legitimate conversation on this podcast. I'm like, oh shit, we're being serious. He's been very open to talking to anybody. He's very confident in himself. I think that's very clear, and you can see the whole trying to be himself thing. And from the conversations that you've had, that I've had with different players, I think it rubbed people the wrong way last year. And I don't think certain veterans liked stepping over him in the clubhouse when he was taking a nap and they were trying to do their work, or there's just certain things that the veterans were pissed about, and they let him know. And like he said to me, to his credit, like he's tried to adjust them. So he's definitely a unique guy. I mean, we've seen that. There's things he's doing that people who've been on the beat for 20, 30 years are saying, I've never seen a big leaguer do this. But at the end of the day, if he hits, then none of that matters really.
I agree with that. And so I'll add this detail about Napgate. Like, we can talk about the nail polish and we can talk about the sunbathing, but them having an issue with him napping in the clubhouse, that's not like a rookie thing. So I've never told this story, and I'll take the names out of it. But there was a veteran on, I believe it was the 2019 Red Sox. There was a veteran who was napping in the clubhouse and got a bucket of ice water dumped on him for taking a nap in the clubhouse. A veteran doing this to another veteran. So it's not like a, hey, Rook, know the rules. Apparently, like, the culture in the Red Sox clubhouse is you fucking better not take a nap, which is crazy.
Yeah, you better be awake at all times.
Yeah. Like, don't they have nap rooms?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, he just, like, basically the way he put it to me was like, no one in AAA ever told me it was a problem. So I just thought I'd keep doing the same thing because it's what worked. And there's logic to that. I don't think they had nap rooms at Polar Park or whatever. So, but like I said, he said he's willing to adjust. And if he gets, the homers twice in a game, he can do whatever he wants probably.
Don't you think it's crazy that he even has to adjust? Like, the only adjustment that should be made in all this, if he wants to wear nail polish, go ahead and wear nail polish. If he wants to sunbathe, it wasn't an issue when Mike Napoli did it. Mike Napoli used to take his shirt off and lay on the mound. Like, why? But Triston Casas can't do it when Napoli was trying to get a tan. Triston Casas is trying to soak up sun because he thinks that it gives him energy to hit homers.
That's baseball, though. Napoli was, 35, 36 when he was here, and Casas is 22, 23. That's just the way it goes.
You have to have tenure to take your fucking shirt off?
I'm not saying it's right, but that's how it works.
I'll take my shirt off right now.
Think. Yeah, I don't do that for obvious reasons.
Yeah, please don't. But the nap thing, I feel like that's the only adjustment. Like, don't nap in front of your locker. Go in the nap room. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know where he's gonna sunbathe. If they're gonna have if they have a UV room for him or whatever.
That's what they said. He's like, I won't do it on the field anymore. Why? Why can't this guy fucking lay in the grass? We're policing who gets to lay in the fucking grass now? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was surprised kind of by the reaction today of I thought it would be kind of the, old head reaction of good, he needs to conform. But, overwhelmingly on Twitter, it was these veterans are, assholes for the way they are. They acted and do whatever you want, Triston, and be you and all that stuff, which, I don't know, kind of shows how antiquated the whole thing is.
Well, this is how I feel about that. I think it's almost like how Madison Bumgarner, when he got asked about why do you get into fights with Puig all the time, and why do you, or no, it was after Max Muncy. After Max Muncy said, get that thing out of the fucking ocean. He's like, why do you care so much? And his honest response was, I just can't help it. Like I just, it is what it, like, that's how it's brought up. That's how it is. And I am the way that I am. I think in this example with Casas, I think the veteran guys in the Red Sox clubhouse right now, if you were to ask them, like, do you really care about this? Or is it just that you were brought up in the game that way? So like, because you weren't allowed to do things the way that you wanted to, you had to do it the way that the veterans told you. Now you're just passing that down.
It's like the inverse pay it forward thing.
Yeah.
It's like, like, oh, I was treated like shit, so I have to do it. I have to do it at a certain point. That's definitely part of it, or all of it, really.
Yeah. Like there's no way that a dude laying in the grass sunbathing really bothers you that much. Like, this isn't the fucking military. It's baseball. We're playing a game. And trust me, if I was one of the pitchers, which, the pitcher in question that had an issue with this, wouldn't you be like, hey, if that's going to help you go fucking 3 for 5 with 2 homers and a double tonight, go for it. Like, cause I need all the help that I can get out there.
Yeah, there is a former Red Sox player that was talking about this situation the other day, and I think his quote was, "Oh, he can put a lounge chair out there as long as he can hit."
Yeah, that should be a universal opinion, especially when you're on a last place team, and it's not like we're dealing with. And by the way, I'll clear his name right now because I saw his name like getting dragged into this. It's not Chris Sale. Like it's not like an ace. Like, it's definitely someone that could have used the run support. So let's remove Chris Sale's name.
I mean, Sale just like wasn't with the team for all of September, right? So
Yeah. I don't know. It's a it's a whole fucking thing. But after we get off the phone with you, Tyler is going to do a dramatic reading from a chapter of Alex Spear's book Homegrown, because apparently, and I didn't read this because I can't read. I did the audio book version of this book.
Yeah. Did someone read it to you?
Yeah, someone read it to me. I can't recall this part of it, but apparently this has like just been a thing forever in Red Sox culture. I'll ask you this because you are on the inside over there. Do you think that the culture that Casas talked about from last September, do you think that it is going to continue this year with some new injections of different players? Or do you think some of the guys that were brought in are going to essentially continue? Because it is a fucking old team. Like, I think Adam Duvall was the only player under 35 that they signed, and he's 34. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know how much you can expect the old timey way of looking at things to change when all you did was sign veterans.
I mean, I think it's Xander's clubhouse last year and has been for the last few years. And he, to me, is like the perfect citizen. So I feel like all this stuff about, it was a bad mix. And obviously, stuff that wrote about today doesn't help that. But like, it's a reflection on him, which I don't think was the case. I don't think you can find anybody, players, executives, coaches, whatever, that would ever say a bad word about him. But I think it's just going to shift. And I also think there's this weird thing where people are trying to anoint a leader right now, for various reasons, and talk about resumes and all that type of stuff. Like, just let it happen organically. Like, they're going to leave spring training. There's guys who are going to emerge, right? Maybe it's the best player on the team. Maybe it's not. They're trying to shoehorn some people into leadership roles. Kind of think that's a little early, whether it's a media narrative or not. Like, that'll figure itself out, I think. So, I kind of get the sense it was a very tight knit clubhouse last year, but, clearly, based on Kike's comments and some of the stuff from Casas today, like any clubhouse, there are some issues, and, new blood, sometimes can cause friction. I think in this case, I hope that, those leaders just emerge.
So when did you get down there?
12th.
So what sense have you gotten on the vibes? Because from social media, it looks like the vibes are high.
I mean, they're very angry whenever we walk in there. So it's tough to be like, the vibes can be great. And then you see me walk in, you're like, oh, now the vibes are not great.
Do you think it's you though? I think it's like, there's a chance that it's just you.
No, I think just the capital M media. But no, they're fine. I think they're just trying to get to know each other. There's 32 guys who have never been in Major League camp with the Red Sox before. They're trying to figure out each other's names, and they'll figure out who their leader is.
How do they not know each other? They all played for the fucking Dodgers for the last 10 years.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, I know I might be threatening a suspension. But
No,
I gotta go.
I was about to hang up on you anyway. Just for the record,
All right.
I was hanging up, not you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go. So,
All right. Thanks.
gracias.
Okay, bye. See. Chris Cotillo, Mexican Times.
Good behavior from him tonight.
Yeah, that was great. That was probably the first time that he actually came on the show and brought something to the table. Maybe the first time ever. I think he's been coming on the show for 3-4 years now. That was probably the first time that he actually brought something to the table.
And I like that he didn't, I don't know, based on some of his Twitter responses, it felt like he was really playing down the idea that there was drama or tension in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like here he admitted, okay, there's a mouse trail of stuff, which I think is kind of fair at this point when you look at Kike's comments. And you know what? I think Alex Cora, as much as he danced around it at the start of spring training, there was a comment he made, I think 4 or 5 days ago. I've watched all his pressers since he got down there, but he said the biggest thing he noticed was professionalism. And he was like, there's no talk about contract extensions, nothing like that.
Mm.
And there was a nugget, we remember, was it earlier last year, that there was a lot of talk about contract extensions and stuff going on in camp, and people were having those conversations. Cora said that, and I don't think he wants to throw anyone under the bus because he loves Bogarts. He's like a son to him. We know that. Evaldi, what he means. And I think it's a bad look for the organization. We've seen, it's a bad look for them to try to throw guys under the bus at this point because we know there's some hesitation to come here right now. And they're trying to fix that. Shitting on guys out the door isn't the way to fix it. But I guess my question to you, Jared, would be when you read that story with Casas, did you take it as there were issues in the clubhouse? Because I remember you didn't say this on the podcast, but we were having a conversation, and it was around the time Duran's comments came out about him feeling like he had a hard time adjusting to the big league clubhouse.
That was also a Cotillo piece, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
100%. And Winkowski was having those weird comments, and it felt like someone gonna put an arm around this guy and kind of.
What did Winkowski say? I don't remember that.
Remember, it was like the Wrigley Field stuff, and then he had another comment where it was just you're causing just issues for yourself when you don't need to.
You would just go pitch in a random ballpark and go, well, that place sucks.
Yeah.
Those fans suck. That team sucks.
Like for no reason. He just thought it was
go
fun.
out there and fucking go like 3 1/3, 7 earned.
That lineup wasn't even
good. Lineup wasn't even good.
It was fueling him, but
that was outrageous that he was doing that.
You had mentioned to me, you go, listen, no names, nothing like that, but the older guys in the clubhouse don't love the younger guys. There's a difference in seeing the game and going about things.
Yeah, it almost felt like beyond baseball. It was almost just like how
philosophy.
Yeah, they like the two, like there's such a wide gap in how they see the world. Like if you're in your mid to late 30s and then you have a kid that's like, in your younger 20s, early 20s, you just see the world differently. You behave differently. Like I use the example of, I think it was 2021. I went back to Saugus High and thought that I was in the Twilight Zone because when I grew up and when I was in high school, they treated having like a cell phone on you like it was a firearm. Like you weren't allowed to have a phone. You couldn't be out texting, nothing. And now, like these kids are sitting at their desks. They've got like laptops out. They're on their phone. Like they have headphones on. And it's just it's like we're not even the same species. The idea that I was seeing this, I was like, oh my God, you guys just live in a completely different world. And I sound like I'm a fucking old person. I'm in my early 30s. And it was bizarre. But like, think of it that way. Like some of the veterans in that clubhouse are about my age. And 2 years removed from being in high school, you're what, 20? So, yeah. I mean, you're talking about like the same groups of people here where it's just different. Like you were raised different. You grew up in a different world. And now you're thrown into the same fishbowl. You're playing the same sport. Maybe you were taught the sport differently. You were definitely coached differently. Like there's probably like, not to point out Rich Hill, I'm just pointing out the oldest guy, but the way that Rich Hill was coached throughout his life, I'm sure that he's had coaches throughout his life that if they tried the same coaching methods on the kids that are coming up right now, they would be like canceled. That's just how it was. Like I remember like my dad my dad was like, yeah, when I was playing high school football, the coach would walk around with a wiffle ball bat and like whack the back of our fucking legs. So like if we didn't do what he said, he would like whack us with a bat. Like it's just different. Like guys are just built different from different generations. And it's not like my sense wasn't that they didn't get along. My sense was that they didn't understand each other. They didn't mesh because they just came from different worlds. Which is like nothing, it's not, it's a different brand of like, you look at a big league clubhouse and you've got like the Latin players. Like when I went into the Houston Astros clubhouse in 2019, the Latin players were sitting over here and the white players were sitting over here. And that's not like racism. That's just, hey, we speak the same language, so we're going to be over here. We speak the same language and we grew up in a certain way. Like we came from poverty and we know it's just like different lifestyles. So they gravitate towards each other. And it's almost like that in a way kind of happened with like the Red Sox clubhouse where you have like the younger players were like, we just came up a certain way and we speak the same language. And then the veterans are like, we came up a certain way and we speak the same language, which is like old school baseball. So that's, I guess, the best comparison that I have for it.
No, I think that's a good one. And then that's not throwing in all the other variables, right? Of the entire situation of unhappiness with the front office, feeling like, hey, are we kind of getting kicked out here? And this next wave of guys is what, Chaim Bloom is kind of about. Are these his guys and we're really not his guys anymore? JD Martinez pleading to finish his career here. Red Sox, dude, we're not even going to give you an offer when you hit free agency.
We're not going to answer the phone.
Yeah, like seriously. Nate Eovaldi, we saw was different, right? But hurt feelings. We're talking about a clubhouse that had a, I don't want to go too far here, but had a conniption when Kevin Plawecki got DFA'd and Alex Cora had to pull Eovaldi aside and be like, dude, like, come on. We got to reel it in here a little bit. And Cora talked about himself. He's like, yeah, you can't go out and say things like that. Like, this just isn't working. Xander, we've talked about it a million times on this podcast. He wasn't himself last year because, the front office poisoned the well a bit. And, that's accountability that has to go there, but it doesn't change what it was.
Dude, I saw it. I fucking saw it with my own eyes with Xander.
You throw all these things in and like not everyone is going to be Alex Cora putting an arm around Dustin Pedroia. Not everyone's like that. You know what I mean? And I think that's some of the stuff that was missing. And I think they've kind of targeted that with certain guys they've brought in this offseason. Like, hey, let's try to create an environment here that makes the transition a little bit easier. Like not everyone's Triston Casas who just strictly like he's him. He has so much confidence in him. Like you look at a Jarren Duran who clearly when he came up here, it kind of broke him. Whatever the adjustment was, whatever people were saying. And, you hear these things about Casas. What do you think the reaction was when Duran was yelling at fans in center field? And that's not taking that blame off of him. You need to be better than that. Or when the ball fell on the warning track against the Blue Jays. But those moments happen and it's like, man, you can kind of see. And that's what connects me to this chapter, Homegrown, Lost in Transition. Shout out Red Sox stats. Still got me blocked. I'm sorry. Please unblock me.
Why does he have you blocked?
Because I used to steal his spring training videos and repost them on my page. I had his notifications on. It bothered him. I don't want to repeat it because he felt the need to block me. That's his right. But I got the burner so I can see the tweets because the page is that good. And I'll never turn on that. But Homegrown, Lost in Transition. He shouted this out. I went in and reread it to find the moment he was talking about. But he was like, when Bogarts...
You reread the whole book to find the segment that he
the chapter, Jared. Okay. The chapter.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yep.
I know you don't typically read like a normal person.
No, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, we know. So I went back and I was trying to figure out what he was talking about. It was Betts, Bogarts, and Bradley Jr. When they kind of came up, there was a little bit of a pushback as they took their bumps and learned what it was like to be in the big league. And there was a story of JBJ. He was supposed to be there for an early BP. He went to get his hair braided. He got stuck in traffic and never made it there. Now, we know during this 2014 season, things were not going their way. It was kind of the closing of one door and the opening of another. And this is how Alex Spear phrased it. The 2014 Red Sox featured a roster of veterans who believed quite reasonably that baseball was them. The awareness how to play the game the right way and to do the right things to prepare for games, and thus to perform in them, had played a critical role in securing a championship. The experienced holdovers wanted their new young teammates to come to the big leagues as developed players. not to experience the big leagues as another developmental level. And then this quote, coming off being world champs, you're expected to win the following year. And you have these young guys trying to perform up to a big league level and learning, making mistakes that most veteran guys weren't making the year before. JBJ is going to make more mistakes than Jacoby Ellsbury, said catcher David Ross. We had players in there who took other guys' roles, who didn't perform and didn't fit in as much with the group and how we went about our business. There was just a lot of missing pieces from the uniqueness of what we had the year before. I think that's where you see guys who were coming up to fill these roles that were trying to adjust, trying to be, Triston Casas stepping up towards the end of the year. He's trying to be your next, first baseman that you don't have to think about. Jarren Duran is trying to be your center fielder of the future. We're making comps to, Jacoby Ellsbury, Grady Sizemore, whatever it was. And I think you had a group of JD, of Xander, of Nate, really that collective that were like, hey, like we won in 2018. We knew how we won our way. When we're starting to see guys who aren't going about it our way, because there's a big gap. These guys, JD is in his mid-30s, like Xander, 30 now. They're on the other half of it. These guys are all coming up and they're just, like you said, kind of looking at them and being like, this isn't the way we learned to do it. And I think that was the disconnect where it wasn't always, hey, let me show you how it's done. It was a little bit more like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, we're trying to win right now. We still believe we can win. And they're like, hey, dude, we just got here. We're trying to learn and figure it out just to survive at this level.
Yeah. And I think the comp that I would have or hope to have with Jarren Duran is Michael Kopech, because I saw a lot of young Michael Kopech in Jarren Duran last year. I think Jarren Duran is insanely talented. I've said it before. I think he just needs to have a plan and stick to it. What I've seen from him, especially last year, is the second that things aren't going well, he just abandons ship and tries something new instead of just riding it out. If it worked before, it'll work again. That's just kind of how I feel about it. He's the big leaguer. I'm the podcaster. So take that for what it is. But I thought that he was making one too many adjustments for someone that once you kind of latch on to success, ride it out. Like, be confident. I think it's a confidence thing. Be confident in what worked before. It'll work again. But the incident in Kansas City where he's screaming at fans and stuff, I remember like Michael Kopech was kind of the same way, where he was easily triggered, very sensitive, easily would get into these defense mode situations with fans, but he's wildly talented. I mean, the guy goes out there and blows 100. It's different. We're talking about a pitcher and a position player, but Kopech had all the talent in the world, but didn't have it between the years, at least when he was in the Red Sox organization. He ends up in the Chris Sale trade. The rest is history. As far as Jarren Duran goes, I think he is maturing, maybe not at the pace or the rate that the organization would have hoped, but I think you have a year like you had last year, and it kind of forces you to grow up. Like, you look at yourself, you have all offseason to reflect on things went for you, and you can kind of sit back and say, I probably should have handled that differently. Like, I think Duran is smart enough to be able to learn from his mistakes. So he's a guy, like I got asked the other day, like, who are you interested or most excited to see this year? I said, Jarren Duran's one of the guys. And I got looked at like I was insane. I'm like, that's the problem. Like, Jarren Duran has had these fuck ups, and that's what he's known for right now. He's not known for the crazy talent that he has.
Which is so crazy because, like, you think back to even last year, but 2021, and how this fan base talked about him. And I'm right there with anyone. Go look at my receipts.
Joe McDonald called him the best prospect he's ever seen.
Like, that's the excitement and the hype we had. And it was clear, in 2021, he was a little rushed when they brought him up because they treated him like a savior at the time. Then last year, he has a great month when he comes up, and then, it all teeters off and goes wrong. But, like, that was the hype generated behind him. And we've talked about it. This year, you're not, listen, the aspirations isn't to win a World Series. It'd be awesome if they did, if they luck into one, however it may be. But it's to figure out the foundation pieces. Can Durant, is there a version of 2023 you look at and you can say, hey, Durant got an opportunity and he ran with it. And he showed that he at least has some kind of role on this team moving forward. And I think Alex Cora said that a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, we still believe in Durant. We're going to give him opportunities. We know we brought Tapia in here, right? But he's going to have a chance. And he has a new stamp.
Bringing Tapia in here.
It's a fuck you a little bit.
Yeah, especially after the Inside the Park Grand Slam, you look at a guy like Tapia to put behind Durant. It's like, hey, you want motivation? We just brought it to your doorstep right here. But not to get off topic too much, but since we're talking about former Red Sox prospects that no one is giving much of a shot to, Bobby Dahlbeck is about to get a lot of time in spring training. He's about to get a lot of opportunity in spring training after essentially being told, we don't have nothing for you. Sorry. Like Triston Casas, he's our first baseman. Like a dude that came up, played about a month and a half, whatever, got X amount of plate appearances, and the plate patience is there, the on-base skills, everything. I mean, the overall results aren't mind-blowing from last year, but even with that, he's been told you're the guy. And Bobby Dahlbeck has essentially been told you're no longer the guy. Like, no vacancy. We don't even have a room for you. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow. So I don't even know, like, say this plays out this way. Say Bobby Dahlbeck just goes fucking off this spring. Is that even good enough to get a spot on the opening day roster? Because I don't think it is.
It's going to be tough.
What do you do? You can't put him at third base. Can't put him at first base. You've already crowned Triston Casas. I'm not saying that that's the wrong decision. Just saying you've already, instead of giving the facade of a competition at first base, it doesn't even sound like they've done that. They've essentially just said, hey, we kind of looked around to see if we could find a home for you, and we can't. So you're kind of just stuck here. But you're more than welcome to play shortstop this spring while Kike's in the World Baseball Classic.
Like, that's it. And I don't know if you saw what Delvick did to a child down in spring training. Did you see that?
What?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I have to tell you.
Tyler, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I'm sorry. What he did to this child was criminal. He was just taking BP.
Christ.
I haven't said anything. Let me explain it before you incriminate the dude.
You're the one that's me.
I just said what he did to a child. I didn't say it was horrendous, but it isn't good.
Go ahead.
He hit a rocket over, I believe it was over the monster, the fake monsters they have down there. Yeah. It hit a child in the stomach, and they had to send paramedics to check the child out.
Is the child okay?
He's fine. He took it. He ate it.
How old is the child?
Went young. Couldn't, I don't know how tall little kids are, but maybe 3 feet. Is that like a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old?
Jake, how tall would you say that child is if he's 3 feet tall?
How tall would he be if he's 3 feet tall?
No. How old would the child be?
How old would he be?
Yeah.
Average height.
I saw the pic. I think he was 7, probably.
Okay.
Not good. I mean,
that's a 7-year-old is going to have a war story for the rest of his life.
Dude, he ate it. The kid was smiling after the paramedics came over, but Bob went and took a picture with him. So I don't know. I think Cora as a whole has kind of told him, let's see where it goes. And you think about it, if you're telling me Jarren Duran and Dahlbeck, they both have great springs, and Duran's going to go play for Team Mexico. So that's the other part of the equation here.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if Duran has a nice spring, I could see him making the roster maybe a little more likely, just because if we're talking Bob, it's all right, at first base, you already have Justin Turner, who's going to be getting some time over there to spell Casas. At third base, you got Devers, but you also have other pieces in this infield mix that can give you a breather there. So, if you have Mondesi one day at second, you can shift Christian to third or whatever it may be. So, do I think it's an absolute no that Delvick makes the roster? He's working uphill. But I could see him as someone who has a nice spring and they deal him somewhere. Maybe there's an opportunity on a second division team. We knew the Rays were interested in him at least a little bit at one point. But it's tough. But in a bridge year, it's hey, you got nothing to lose. Let these guys play. And if someone emerges. It's only going to help you. So it's just I understand the frustration with a Jarren Duran or a Bobby Dahlbeck, but I'm in let's see mode, whatever. Let them play. If they have big springs, great. You have more options, but it's more about finding, searching for answers this year than trying to find the perfect solution for everything, come opening day.
You know what the perfect solution is for your internet and cable? It's Comcast Xfinity. Mm-hmm. Because Game Day just got a major upgrade with the next generation Xfinity 10G network. With Xfinity 10G, you can power an entire house full of devices all at once. So go ahead, Tyler. Invite your neighbors over for the game. Your neighbors' neighbors. Xfinity 10G can handle it all at once with ultra low lag. Xfinity 10G gives you the fastest internet both at home and when you're away. With millions of Wi-Fi hotspots, you can stay right in the action even when you're on the go. Introducing the next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Learn more at xfinity.com/10G. So in conclusion, I will be painting my nails.
Is it for real?
Yes.
All right. Now, will you be painting them to match Casas, or are you just going your own style?
I feel like I have to go red. Like, I think black matches more my style, but black nails kind of is more like a goth thing, whereas Casas is going for a more like, let's go Red Sox thing. Like, he's got the red going with a little bit of like a shimmer. So if I'm a bird, you're a bird, right? Isn't that how it goes? If you're a
Some
bird,
would
I'm
say.
a bird. So if he's wearing red, I'm wearing red.
Can I make a confession?
Please.
I've had painted nails before.
I have too. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, it's not weird.
I think the people on Twitter that were freaking out about that, and we know what people were freaking out about it was the older side, the old school, yada yada, painted nails or whatever. How about you play baseball? Let him be him. Like, why?
Imagine thinking you can't hit a baseball because your nails are painted.
He hits fucking bombs. Did you not see it down the stretch last year? I saw a couple homers at Yankee Stadium. I saw Ryan Brazier catch Triston Casas' first homer out in the stands.
What is it about painted nails that these clearly very secure men find so offensive?
It's the same thing you mentioned earlier, Jared. It's the difference in the
how
age.
They grew up. They're
That's
programmed that way.
And they look at it and immediately they come up with all these whatever stereotypes, whatever they may be. But Jared, even in your age, like your age range or whatever, I feel like it's more common. In mine, it's like, that's just part of it, bro. Like, there's a lot of people that's just style. Like, that's how they go about it. Like, my generation, we're bumping Playboy Cardi. Like, Cardi, Uzi, like, name whoever. All these dudes got painted nails. They're doing different things. It's like, it's a way of an expression. It's a way of them going about themselves and being them. And when I hear a guy in Triston Casas just wants to be himself here, be yourself. Don't try to be anyone else. Because last time I watched someone try to be anyone else, it was Jarren Duran, and it sent him down an awful path.
Yeah. I'm just glad we got to a point where painted nails is socially acceptable. I'm a big accessory guy. I mean, obviously, I buy sneakers in all different colors. I buy sneakers to match my t-shirts. And if I can now accessorize my nails because Triston Casas paved the way for that, God bless him. I'm going to start painting my fucking nails. I don't care. There's definitely a lot of people on Twitter that were upset about it, but you were in the minority if you were upset about it.
I would say you were, but they were very vocal. Like, those were the comments you were seeing all over Twitter was like fighting it. Cause I think I posted it and I was just like, Triston Casas, he was working out with the red glove. I was like, oh, the gloves match the nails. That's tough or something like that. And it's just like, I knew what I was doing when I posted it. I'm not going to lie. Like, you're causing some, reaction to it. But dude, if that's the stuff that bothers you, good luck watching sports over the coming years. Cause this is just what it is. This is the generation, this Gen Z, whatever you want to call it. We go about it a different way. If you don't like it, like, you're going to have to learn. Every generation, like the one that comes after it, they think is corny or weird or lame. That's all it is. And then ultimately you realize, like, nah, that's just who they are. Like, that's what makes them them.
Yeah.
Grow to accept it. I'm telling you, when Triston Casas is in Rookie of the Year voting and he's one of the main cornerstones of this franchise, nobody's going to be giving a fuck. If anything, you're going to see people showing up to Fenway painting their nails. That's going to become a thing.
I'm going to be doing it. I like, that's the thing is, I go to Fort Myers on Saturday. Otherwise, I would have already done it because I don't want him to think that I'm making fun of him. I'm standing in support with him. If I go down there with painted red nails, I don't know if he's going to be like, what are you making fun of me?
No. Personally, I don't know Triston Casas, so I don't want to speak for him.
So I do a little bit. Like I've like talked to him in person a couple of times.
He did Section 10 way back in the day, right?
It was Section 10 was his first interview he ever did.
I think he'd look at you and be like, thank you. It'd be like a sign of, just connection there. Like, hey, I'm with you. Let the old guys clown you, whatever it may be, but I'm rocking with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I I don't know. Like that's the only thing. I have his number. I feel like I don't know that I would like shoot him a text and be like, hey man, like check out my
just send a pic at the nail salon.
Or I'll just do it and show him. Regardless, okay. I'm showing up to opening day with painted nail. I don't give a fuck if he sees him or not. Like I'm just doing it.
Can I pitch an idea to you?
Please.
Nesson 360.
Would you go? That was another thing where I was like, all right, like it would be cool to do an episode where me and Triston go get our nails done.
That'd be fire. That'd be crazy.
I don't know if I went and asked him, like, hey, I've got this idea. Like, let's go. Like, I don't know if he'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Or if he'd be like, so I told you that when I did the rock, paper, scissors thing during the pandemic, he didn't want to do it. He was like one of maybe like 3 players that said no.
Was there a reason, or was he just like,
he literally said, nah, I'm good.
Okay.
But he sent like the laughing emoji. That was the last time that I texted him, was like during the pandemic in 2020.
Now, you're not alone, Jared. Bradford talked about it on his podcast. He had reached out to him for an interview after saying, like, I got you. Like, I think last year at spring training, and Casas kind of just messaged him during the offseason. He was like, I'm good. It was kind of just like that. And then he came back this spring training. He was like, yeah, let's do an interview. So I don't know if it's just timing with him. Like Chris kind of just said, some days he's like for it. Some days he's not for it.
That's what I said.
Oh, so yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. Maybe if you ask at the right time when you're kind of get a little time hanging out or whatever it may be, that could do it.
Maybe. I don't know. I just he's a weird cat, but I like that about him. I like that this is what everyone's saying. He's unapologetically himself. And that's what I like about him. But on top of all that, I don't want him to be known as the space cadet guy that's like this generation's Bill Lee. Bill Lee was a 17-game winner in back-to-back seasons. Like Bill Lee was a guy, but he was known as like the zany, the spaceman. But like Triston Casas, you look at how he goes about his business. He's in the cage constantly. He's working on his swing. He's working on his eye, all this stuff, defense. So ultimately, I want him to be known for the on-field play, but he is kind of going out there being like, this is who I am. If you like it, great. If you don't, I don't give a fuck. It just is what it is. You have to like that about him.
Yeah, and I think he will. He just needs more time in the bigs. Like, he needs more opportunity. And I think we got a taste of that at the end of last year. And like, I don't know. I think people want to cling to things or whatever it may be about the nails. Like, oh, like, dude, we're talking about a sport where anyone who grew up or watched baseball, like, if you you painted your nails a lot of the time so you can see the signs. You know what I mean? Like, I did it all the time. But I think if like JD Martinez was born in his generation, you'd get something that looks like Triston Casas. Like, along the lines. I'm surprised
Verdugo. I mean, look at Verdugo.
He's another one. But you saw it. Did you see how many people bitched about the grills in the chain? I'm like, dude, that grill is crazy, man. Like, that is so fire. I love that. But I know, like, at 98.5, I'm showing the picture to all of them. They're like, oh, what the fuck is this? Who does he think he is? It's like, what are you guys even making it about, dude? He's just being Alex Verdugo. Like, don't you want him to be the guy who is unapologetically himself, fired up, bringing the energy, rocking chains? Like, that's why I like Alex Verdugo.
I just personally don't care how people look or what they wear or what their fashion accessories are, just as long as you're a good baseball player. That's what I care about. When you suck at baseball, that's when I'm going to start to say some negative things. When you're good at baseball, that's great. That helps us all. Jake, will you get your nails painted with me?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, cool. Boys night out.
Fuck it.
We're gonna get some mani pedis. See that like I just talked about my hands, nails. Like I didn't say anything about my toes. I actually did. I have gotten a pedicure before.
It's bad. It's horrendous.
I enjoyed it.
Are you ticklish?
Depends.
Despite my, manly voice and appearance, I am a bit ticklish. I went for my first pedicure with Martha 2-3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
The ladies were laughing at me. They switched at one point because the first lady was making me laugh too much. The second lady made me laugh more. And they told me,
you're just a ticklish little guy.
I was having a good time. It's nice when you get a little bit of the water going.
Dude just goes out to get a little tickle.
She knew how to hit the spots. Like, I was having fun.
I think it was, it's been a while. I think it was like 2019. I got, not a pedicure. No, yeah. Which one's the foot? Pedicure, right?
Pedicure.
Yeah, I got a pedicure with Ellie Schnitt. She was like, let's go for a walk. I was like, all right, cool. We're walking around. We walk past this like nail place, and she was like, "Would you get a pedicure with me?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I was like, "Do they like scrub your feet and shit? Like what is like feminine about that? Like I would love right now just like a foot massage, clean that shit up. Like fuck yeah!" But I'm surprised I haven't gone again since. I enjoyed the experience.
Book it, Jared. We'll go.
Shout out
all
to
three
Ellie.
of us.
Some of the most entertaining baseball content to ever hit the internet was captained by Ellie Schnitt. Of all people. Oh my God. I gotta find that Dallas clip. Oh man.
Why don't I remember this?
So the backstory was oh man, listen to this. This is great.
Oh, Ellie. Oh, give me the call, Ellie.
Come on, let's go.
Dude, he almost goes yard, but doesn't.
This is what I want. Ooh, they're running. That's all I want. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get it.
Don't they running? God, tell
Wait,
me
yeah, he's running really far.
Home run!
Yeah, no, not a home run at all.
Are we running? We have
Stop
points?
the
We
sale.
score points?
There's no one on the. It's the end of the fifth. No.
We heard that.
Oh, fuck you, Hobbs!
So I'm sure a lot of people listening know this story, but it's ALCS Yankees Astros 2019. I believe it was game 2. They had catering, like Chinese food catering, and I ate before. I didn't have the Chinese food. Like I got like a sub on the way in, and the Yankee fans just like devoured all this food, left the catering trays everywhere, like their plates of food were everywhere. And then like I wake up to an email from Erica, and she's just like, I'm like the first name on the list. She's like, and then she sent out a tweet just like sewering us for being disgusting pigs. And Dave looped me into it. And I was like,
I remember.
Like different team. Like first of all, the Yankee guys, they're a unit. They got the Chinese food. I was just there because I was told to be there. I was just told to be there because the Yankees Astros stream needed me to be interesting, the Red Sox guy. No one cared about just watching the Yankee guys. So they leave this big mess, and Dave decides to punish all of us, me included, which, again, Dave is stripped of his Boston guy status. First of all, motherfucker left Boston to go to New York. Then he moves to Miami for tax purposes. Then all of a sudden he wants to claim Boston. No. And doing this, by the way, looping me in with the Yankee guys to punish me. If you were a real Boston guy, to make it even worse, they should have had me doing what Ellie was doing, fucking with them. Because I legitimately I didn't touch the Chinese food. I wasn't involved. But instead, I'm sitting on the couch, part of the people who are being punished. So the punishment was, I believe this was Coley's idea, was to have me and the Yankee guys sitting on a couch. We can't see the game. And Ellie was sitting at a table with a monitor on it. She's never watched a baseball game. She's not a sports girl. And she's watching the game and trying to tell us what's happening. So that's how we watched the game, was through Ellie's eyes. And she would just be like, they the guy's running, but the ball is caught, but it's not, but it could be. And we're like, what? Like, what does that mean? And then she'll be like, Big Ev will be like, is it a commercial? She's like, yeah, it's a commercial. Yeah. Like, that's how we knew it was the end of the inning, when she would tell us it was a commercial. So, I mean, all in all, it was great content. I'm glad that it happened that way. I was fucking furious at the time.
I recall, yes.
I was I almost like, there was a point where when he actually like looped me in, that I like walked out of the office, because I was like, if I stay here any longer, I'm going to fucking smash something, or I'm going to say something that I regret. So when he was dead serious about like punishing me along with them, I remember I like walked down like the fire escape stairs just to like remove because I knew I was about to blow. And it turned out to be one of the fucking most memorable things I did there. But yeah, Ellie was 1000% the star of the show for that. That's just something you can't recreate. Like you can't do that with like a different group of people. Like it was a moment in time that was an all-time classic.
You guys going to meet up for a pedicure again?
I would meet up with her for a pedicure. I think yeah, I would do that.
I'm telling you, it'd be fun to do a Carrabis podcast, rent out a nail salon, and we all get pedicures together.
Say less. I'll do it right now.
Please?
I think it would be funny. I think it would be funny to do it with Casas. I don't know that I have the balls.
Where's your confidence? Are you okay?
Here's my thought process, right? He's going to be here for a long time. Ooh. I don't want to say something that's going to piss him off unintentionally. Like it's not like I know that it's going to piss him off and I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I don't know if that's something where he's going to be like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Or he's going to be like, no, dude, I'm good. And then think I'm a weirdo for the rest of the time.
Do you feel like you're at the point, like you've talked about the transition in the clubhouse years back now, where, the last group really kind of embraced you, right? Mm-hmm. Are you feeling like you kind of have to go through that somewhat again? Like, obviously you're not the Jared Carrabis you were back then, right? But where, hey, like Casas might be one of the guys who owns this clubhouse a year from now, 2 years from now. Like, this is a long-term relationship. Like, if this doesn't go right, it may be weird if I'm, in and out of there and doing different stuff.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I mean, it's not like anything like ever like the only weird thing that ever happened was that he didn't want to do rock, paper, scissors 3 years ago. Like, I've since seen him a couple times, and like we've had like stop and chats every time that I've seen him.
You need your swagger back.
I just need to get back out there. Please. I need to get back out there. Yeah, I need to get back to Fenway. I need to get back in the dugout.
Well, you talked about it last year. The vibes were so bad. We're now at the point where it's like all vibes. Like, this is the all vibes team. So why not this year?
There's some people on the beat that I don't fucking like too. Like, it's just, yeah.
There is a specific member of the beat I would love to talk about during this episode.
There's a couple of them that I don't like. Like, no, there's multiple. There's more than two. There's more than two that I don't like.
I will say Pete Abe is having himself quite a spring training.
Well, he's a fucking idiot. He is an absolute
he is setting some new levels here.
He's a dunce, that guy.
Like the Yoshida soft toss. Never had seen soft toss with Yoshida before.
It was the most unironically, unintentionally funny tweet I've ever seen. Pete Abe tweets out a video of Yoshida taking batting practice via soft toss, just like a little front toss. And he tweets the video and he's like, I don't know, like, what's going on in Japan?
This is a gyro ball.
I don't know what the hell they're teaching these guys in Japan, but Yoshida's out here doing some wild shit to get ready for the 2023 Boston Red Sox season. It was literally just soft toss. That was it. It was like a little underhand batting practice soft toss. Nothing fancy to it. Nothing uncharacteristic to it. And I was like, is he joking? And then he deleted it and then reposted. He like tried to like reword it. And we're like, no, you're still a fucking idiot. Like, you're still an asshole.
He's like,
that's all it is front toss.
He's like, oh, this is the first time I've seen this. This isn't the first time. Everybody else is like, dude, you've been down at spring training all these years, man. There is no excuse. There is none. And then, he just tried to pretend like it didn't happen. And I don't know.
People were shitting on him for that, obviously, rightfully so. And there was one Red Sox account that was like, this is the guy that was shitting on Jared Carrabis for being a blogger. And then he ended up sending paragraphs upon paragraphs in the DMs to this person. Be like, I never said any of the things about him that he talks about on his podcast. First of all, of course, I've said it on the podcast since, but there are receipts for everything that he fucking said. Like when I wrote that blog in 2016, just absolutely sewering him. We've never spoken since. I've seen him in person a bunch of times. He won't even look me in the eye, nor should he, because he's an asshole. He's wrong. He's wrong about everything that he ever fucking said. But he will like openly try to deny some of my claims when the blog had screenshots of all the emails, like everything. There was screenshots of everything that he fucking said. Oh my God. Talk about an all-time Hall of Fame piece of shit, Pete Abraham.
I do think that transitions us into the Noah Song thing that he had to also apologize for.
He apologized?
Yeah, because he called it. I want to make sure I have the exact phrasing here. But I believe he called it complete embarrassment after. So for people who didn't, keep up with the news, Noah Song, we've all talked about it for all these years or whatever it may be, got picked in the Rule 5 draft by the Phillies. Now back from the Navy. He somehow got his waiver granted after a year. He's off. He showed up at camp today. There's a whole bunch more to it, but he called it a wholesale embarrassment. Took it back, said that was way too strong today or yesterday, whatever it may be. But anyone who realizes it, you look into the Noah Song stuff, he said today he hadn't thrown off a mound since the Premier 12 tournament in 2019. It's been legit
3+ years.
3+ years. And say what you want, Noah Song is extremely talented. No one's denying that. Hopefully he gets back here. But acting like the Red Sox committed the most albatross failure that you could ever comprehend, because as we've seen, anything Bloom, he's extremely negative about. He's still hoping Dave Dombrowski gives him a call. That's what he's hoping for. And I get it. I get being upset about Noah Song or whatever it may be, but it's just like, if you're not getting the Rule 5 stuff, like his agent came out and told Noah Song, like, don't expect to get picked. Everybody was shocked when he got picked. The reason the Red Sox left him unprotected was if they added him to the 40-man and put him on the military list, right? If they had gone about it that way, he would have to go immediately back on the 40-man once he came off. So you'd be starting his clock when the guy has only pitched at low A.
And at the time, I don't believe the Red Sox knew that he was going to get discharged.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and I don't even think that's
not even it technically discharged. I don't even think is the right phrasing.
Correct. Yeah. Let me see. What info do I have on this? It was not technically a discharge. Yes. From what I've told.
Yeah, we saw he put the waiver claim and we were waiting. But for anyone who's paid attention to the Red Sox this year, have we not been going through a 40-man crunch this entire offseason? Like Franklin Herman got DFA'd like 2-3 weeks ago. He was your 22nd best prospect in the system. If they had kept on Noah Song at that time, eventually, or had to play the cards whatever way, we'd be sitting here and saying, he came back today, right? And that was the conversation. People be questioning, like, what's going on here? You have this guy on your 40-man when he hasn't pitched in all these years, and now you're going to kind of wait and hope he figures it out. Like, the Red Sox were in a spot where they weren't going to screw the kid and start his clock. It was like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's kind of play it out here. And if he does come back, he can actually have time to work his way up through the minors instead of what Dave Dombrowski is going to do, where he expects a kid who hasn't thrown or pitched consistently. He said it was learning to pitch, like, or pitching today or last week, whatever. Yeah. Was like learning how to walk again.
Yeah.
Like,
and the way that it exists, like, he has to be on the 26-man roster for the whole season, or else he goes through waivers.
Yeah, so he'll be exposed to waivers, and another team will have to follow suit with the same requirement.
Right. So, okay, he has to be on the 26-man roster for the Philadelphia Phillies, who are contending for a championship after just making it to the World Series. So he has to be someone that has not pitched since 2019, that hasn't pitched above high A.
Not even short season, low A. It's not even a level. The Lowell Spinners no longer exist.
Okay, so
it's not even a thing.
He last pitched for the Lowell Spinners, a team that has not existed in multiple years now. He last saw live hitters in a organized baseball game in 2019. Has not pitched above low A. Has to make the 26-man roster for a team that was just in the World Series and stay on the roster for the entire year for the Phillies to retain him moving forward. If he doesn't stay on the roster or if he doesn't make the roster, then he has to go through waivers. And if a team claims him, they have to abide by the same set of rules that the Phillies were just described to having to abide by.
Correct.
And if any one of these teams fail to keep him, then he would just be returned to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, there's $50,000 that goes along with it. But yeah, I think the fear is, right, if you kind of play it out, if the Phillies, it doesn't work out, say they have 7 bullpen spots already filled. So that's the other part of this equation here. But he gets sent to a team like Oakland or Pittsburgh that has nothing to lose. They can just say, hey, go sit in that bullpen and, we'll figure it out as we go along. But the most important thing is we get another prospect. But for the Phillies, it's like the worst thing you could do for a kid who hasn't pitched in, 3+ years is stick him in the last spot in the bullpen and he maybe throws once a week.
By the way, when I saw that he had been discharged or whatever the fuck happened, that he was showing up for the Phillies or whatever, and I quote tweeted and said, I'm furious. The amount of people that were like, what do you mean you don't know the fucking Rule 5 draft rules, blah, blah, blah. Like, shut the fuck up. Because you probably didn't know the rules 5 minutes ago. Like, now you're like, oh, you gotta be better, man, blah, blah, blah. How many times in the history of the Boston Red Sox has there been a player lost to the Rule 5 draft that there was an uproar about, that fans were like, how the fuck is this guy not protected and with another organization? Like, to act like you're read up on the very last detail of the Rule 5 fucking draft, get the fuck out of here. Like, I knew that there was a scenario in which he could have been returned. I didn't know the full fucking, like, oh yeah, he's got to stay on 26-man, like all that shit. I didn't fucking know that. I didn't pretend to either. There were people that were literally out there pretending to be experts on the matter when they just learned about it literally 5 minutes beforehand. They're like, you're just reading shit from other people that are just tweeting about this right now and acting like you've known this all along and acting like this was common knowledge. No fucking chance. The vast majority of Red Sox fans had any fucking idea how the return player Rule 5 rules worked. The fuck out of here.
Even the experts like Chris Hatfield, like he's saying it on the timeline. He's like looking through things to make sure all of this is lined up and he has a full
Everyone's
grasp.
thumbing through the rule book, and even then they're not sure.
Yeah, and even now, like looking at it, we're not exactly sure what loopholes the Phillies are going to play. It's Dave Dombrowski, right? Like we've talked, or there's been talk on the timeline. Are they going to try to phantom IL him? It'd be pretty hard to. The Red Sox would be on their ass with a grievance.
And how does that help? Because if you're Noah Song and you've been on the sideline for over 3 years and you're eligible to pitch, don't you want to just be like, dude, I don't want to waste another year of my prime years. Like I'm not trying to make a comeback in my 30s.
Exactly. And that's why that played into the Red Sox thing. It's like, we're not going to start burning option years for a guy who might need a significant amount of time. He hasn't pitched. Like Dombrowski said it today. He might throw 85.
Yeah.
Like he has not thrown. He played catch occasionally. Occasionally. Like it wasn't a daily thing. He wasn't building.
He's airing it out on a fucking submarine either? Like,
hell no. So like, let's play it out and, hopefully he returns back here. Some people were tweeting at me. They're like, dude, like, don't sit here and act like the Phillies are taking a risk here. Like they just robbed Bloom. It's like, I like Noah Song as much as anyone. None of us know. None of us.
None of us know.
By
the way, the amount of uproar and outrage over the Noah Song thing, when he got taken in the Rule 5 draft, I tweeted something to the effect of like, the Red Sox may have just lost one of their top pitching prospects. And I got sewered by some of the fucking the know-it-all, Red Sox know-it-all Twitter. Like, he hasn't pitched in over 3 years. I know he hasn't fucking pitched in almost 3 years. I'm talking just based on talent alone. It's not about results. It's not about what he can do for you in 2023. It was about talent. And I think we're seeing now with all the outrage and uproar over how this is playing out with the Phillies, more people agree than disagree that Noah Song, talent-wise, would be one of the Red Sox top prospects.
If he was able to get back to where he was, sure. I understand where people are like, there's a reason he's not ranked on Sox prospects anymore. Like, who knows what he is. But talent-wise, if it comes all the way back, yeah, he'd have some of the better stuff in the organization. But it's like, at this point, is he a starter? Like, if he came back, it's probably in the bullpen.
It's a bullpen guy. Yeah.
Well, for the Phillies, right? But like ultimately, like the dreaming on Noah Song was like, holy shit, he could be a front of the rotation guy, right?
Mhm.
So like you've already curved his ceiling. And that's why I sit here. Yes, I want Noah Song back, but am I going to cry either if they somehow pull off away or if he ends up in Oakland or Pittsburgh? No, because the farm system and the Red Sox, like, it's moved on. Like, Noah Song wasn't changing your ranking on any, prospect publication or whatever it may be. It'd be awesome if he's here, but either way, is he going to make or break Chaim Bloom's tenure or whatever's going on here? Fuck no. And
people are only up in arms because the fixation on Dave Dombrowski. It was the Phillies who took him in the Rule 5 draft. If it was the Pittsburgh Pirates who took him, are we still having... I mean, there would be some sort of discussion about it. I'm not saying it would just fly under the radar, but it's really chapping people's asses that it was Dave Dombrowski that tried to roll the dice on this. Like, he's taking a risk.
It's just to the point where everyone, like the Dombrowski guys, want to act like everything he does is perfect, just like some of the extreme Chaim Bloomists want to act like everything he does is perfect. It's somewhere in the middle. Congrats. He took a risk on Noah Song. There's not much thing, nothing that's going to kill him. Like, what? They're going to have to give $50K back and send him here? Who gives a fuck? They don't care. It's just a lottery ticket. Let's see what happens. So cool. He took a lottery ticket that nobody else was going to take in the Rule 5. Let's see what happens. But more likely than not, he's going to end up back here or with another organization, and he's not going to be the guy I think that everyone dreamed on no matter what originally. Yeah. Maybe if he comes back to the Red Sox and he can take his time going through the minors, but he's older now. They'd probably treat him like a reliever anyways and go from there. So I don't know. I'm not losing any sleep over this one way or the other. I think people who are just, you're looking for a reason to bitch and complain.
I agree. As a big Noah Song guy, I'm not losing any sleep about it. And I still think that the most likely scenario is that he does get returned to the Red Sox. And if he doesn't, I'm not going to freak out. Unless wherever he does end up and he comes up and he's just like Garrett Whitlock 2.0, then I'm like, fuck.
I think that's like what they're hoping for, right? Like, you get a guy with explosive stuff, but Garrett Whitlock was coming off Tommy John surgery, not 3 years of not fucking picking up a baseball consistently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we've never seen anything like this. Like, it's funny to me because the same people that sit here and are like sucking off Dombrowski and saying, oh my God, like, look at what he did, are the same people who would tell you Chaim Bloom's depending on Chris Sale, who hasn't pitched, a full season in all these years, or James Paxton, who hasn't pitched a full season in all these years. It's like, all right, congrats. Like, the layoff's the layoff. Let's see how it plays. Noah Song doesn't have a track record in the big leagues. Doesn't really have a track record in minor league baseball.
No.
Let it play out.
We're getting dangerously close to, and this is very premature as well, that point where it's like, we just need to start playing fucking games.
Good thing that starts tomorrow.
Well, like real games.
I have a rant.
Because people get too worked up about minute things. And it's because like we've got nothing else to talk about. So now we're gonna go on these Noah Song rants when it's like, bro, Red Sox posted a lineup.
That is the worst tweet I ever posted today.
In response to your lineup?
I just posted the lineup that Cora gave for tomorrow's game against Northeastern.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that think this is the opening day lineup scares me, terrifies me, worries me.
All right, so here is the lineup. Tyler Milliken tweeted this at 12:34 p.m. today, February 23rd. We have our first Red Sox lineup of 2023. Leading off in center field, Jarren Duran. Batting second, playing third base, Rafael Devers, before he heads off to the World Baseball Classic representing the Dominican Republic. Jarren Duran going to Mexico. Batting third, shortstop. You know him. You love him. Kike Hernandez, before he heads off to play for Puerto Rico. Batting cleanup, the left fielder, who is getting special instruction today from none other than Jim Rice, former left fielder of the Boston Red Sox himself, Masataka Yoshida, batting cleanup. Then in right field, batting fifth, he's got the grills, he's got the chains, does not have a contract extension, despite some reports that the sides are close. Cracking
All
down.
jokes.
That's a joke. Alex Verdugo. And batting sixth from the right side. Little left, right. Little left, right. Little left, right, left. It's like you're trying to get fucking the weapons cheat code in Grand Theft Auto. Jorge Alfaro, your DH. Batting seventh at first base, Triston Casas. What's Valdez's first name? Emmanuel?
Emmanuel, E-N.
Emmanuel Valdez, playing second base. Why the fuck is Christian Arroyo not playing second base?
Good question.
Who the fuck is Scott?
That's Steven Scott, Vandy kid. He's been in the system for a couple of years. 2019 draftee.
Okay. I actually just watched a YouTube video last night. There's like a YouTube series of this dude going around touring all the premier college baseball facilities. Look it up. It's like a $12 million facility, Vanderbilt. And it is like, you look at that and you're like, how do you go from playing at, like, imagine David Price playing at Vanderbilt. And by the way, I don't think that Price had this facility because it's a $12 million facility, and I think he donated $2.5 million to build it. But let's just say hypothetically, he was there. How do you go from a facility like that and then walk into the Red Sox clubhouse? You're like, you sure this is the big leagues? Like, the Vanderbilt facility looks like it is probably better than 90% of big league facilities or clubhouses.
It's what baseball dreams are made out of. And I remember going back over the years of watching like their College World Series hype videos and like the pathway there. Dude, their production, like, I'm not trying to disrespect the Red Sox social media team or anything like that, but dude, if you want to get chills and like go watch like a team's
Vandy boys,
dude, it is crazy, man. Like the swagger, and we know the jerseys are the jerseys, man. I think those might be the cleanest jerseys in all of baseball. Major leagues,
black
minor
with the gold
leagues,
pinstripes.
Yes. Oh my God, those things are gorgeous.
I love Vanderbilt's colors.
As good as it gets. And yeah, man, that facility, that's the kind of stuff you think about. And like, college baseball doesn't get enough attention. You're someone who's actually giving it a little bit of light.
In March,
like yeah.
I fully admit every single year where it's like, I'm going to pay way more attention to college baseball than I do to MLB spring training. But then once MLB season starts, it's like the college baseball community will embrace me. And then they're like, we know that you're only here for March. Like, we know that we're going to lose you as an ambassador once MLB season starts. But at least we have that understanding. Like, it's not that I am using the college baseball community for attention. Like, I could easily be tweeting MLB spring training bullshit, but I just have a genuine interest in their world. But I mean, MLB, that's what we do. That's what we do here.
I think it's why we like the World Baseball Classic so much, because it's kind of a fusion where we get to see the older guys who are in Major League Baseball have the fun that they do in the College World Series, where, you know, you're kind of not taking, you're serious, don't get me wrong, but, you know, guys are at the top of the dugout, you got chants going, the fan base, like, you watch college baseball, man, those ballparks are stacked, you know, in those teams like Vandy and these different spots, you know, not, you know, your random school or whatever it may be, but you get that crazy intensity, and like, I'm not a big college baseball guy. Really, the only time I dive in is when I'm doing my draft class stuff. And I'm trying to, dip my foot in there. But, man, that is some of the most electric baseball you're going to watch. Heavily, heavily slept on.
Yeah, that's why I love it. It's because you're getting competitive baseball. You're getting dudes pounding their chests after strikeouts and flipping their bats to the moon after homers, and no one's getting upset about it. It's a nice little I guess runway to Major League Baseball season starting.
If you want to have fun, click on Just Bombs Productions. I know a lot of people who spend a lot of time on YouTube. You always think of them for the college football highlights or whatever, but they did a Dansby Swanson one back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You talk about fucking chills, man. That is where you get it. It is as good as it gets. And their pipeline, like, there's not a better pipeline.
Yeah. They've got a
Sonny
few
Gray,
big leaguer, Tony Kemp,
Walker
Mikey
Buehler.
Stremski, Walker Buehler, David Price recently retired. Yeah. A couple national championships, 2014, 2019, I want to say.
Yeah. Kumar Rocker coming through now.
Mm-hmm.
Fire
Jack
me up,
Leiter,
Oh,
who I wanted very badly, like almost ruined Coley's wedding.
I got the night of the draft, I was a very big Jack Leiter person because I didn't think Marcel Meyer, number one, was going to possibly fall the Red Sox. But whatever it was, second pick, I can't even remember in my head. Yeah, the Rangers took him second overall, right?
Yeah.
After the first overall pick, I was like, oh, this just raised the Red Sox chances of landing Leiter significantly or something like that. And then he gets drafted immediately.
Immediately.
And, I got dunked on so hard on Twitter that night. It was good, though. And it was worth it.
I was tweeting Jack Leiter highlights for a fucking year.
Yes.
Over a year.
I feel like
I think he missed his sophomore year, maybe. It was one of the, because of COVID, they didn't have a season. And then I found a video of him just doing like a bullpen. And I found it on like some like prospect Instagram account. And I tweeted out the video. I was like, holy fuck, like this dude throws absolute fuel bombs. And I didn't even know at the time that he was supposed to be. I mean, then he went on to have the unreal final season with Vanderbilt that he had.
The no-hitter.
Yeah, and then he became the number 2 overall pick in the draft. But when I saw the video, I had no idea that he was supposed to be like the next big thing. I just saw it and knew that he had it. And I wanted the Red Sox to draft him. And they fucking had a horrible season in 2020. And I was like, oh my God, it's all happening. The Red Sox have the number 4 pick in the draft. They're going to get Jack Leiter. And then he went 2.
It was like tank for Kumar, right? And then obviously the shoulder stuff or whatever popped up and that conversation changed. But I think sitting here,
apologies from everyone who was like, when they were doing the tank for Kumar thing, I was like, no, Leiter's the guy.
I think the Red Sox, no disrespect to Jack Leiter or Kumar Rocker, they lucked out. Marcel Meyer, I'd take him over either one of those at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy, obviously, to end up with. I mean, at the time,
that was the best case. Like, no one even thought that was a possibility.
Correct. Marcelo Meyer at number 4 was still considered to be the best prospect in that draft. And some baseball fans might be confused by that. And it's all about signability. Like when you're like a top 5 eligible projected draft pick and a team calls you and they're like, hey, we're going to take you with the second pick. That player can just be like, all right, well, cool. I'm not going to sign.
Yeah.
And then you move on. So like Meyer could be like, yeah, I'm straight up not playing for the Pirates. I'm here to tell you right now, I'm not interested in signing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So
yeah, just think of that year with Judd Fabian, right? Judd Fabian, they don't end up actually, don't agree to a deal, and obviously that changes how you handle the bonus pool and everything, which is a big part of it. But yeah, Jordan Lawler, we were having those conversations at that time, and you look at both of those guys, it's like those are really the biggest standouts. No disrespect to Henry Davis, but he hasn't really popped like a lot of people thought he was, dealing with injuries or whatever. So don't panic. A lot of people panicked on draft night.
That I feel like we haven't gotten the full story there. That seemed like there was some bad blood there because his family was like tweeting, talking shit about the Red Sox and stuff.
Crazy. He's with Baltimore now, right?
I don't know where he ended up, but I just know that after it didn't work out with the Red Sox and he made this big announcement that he was going back to play for Florida, and his family was tweeting very disparaging comments about the Red Sox organization, which is, I mean, it sounds like there's a story there.
I won't disrespect Judd Fabian too much because he had a 1070 OPS last year in 22 games.
Oh!
But it's okay. It's okay. Listen,
Good for him.
lots of strikeouts there. A lot of strikeout concern. I'm not worried.
Yeah. Was there anything else on the list?
We slightly touched on Verdugo. We have the Houck extension stuff as well, if we want to kind of wrap those into 2 quick thoughts. Did we talk about Verdugo and the body transformation last episode? Had that happened yet?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so we hit on that. The extension stuff, I know some people were saying, like, do you extend Verdugo now? Personally, no. Let him play out this year. You got to see if he takes another step. Will it be a little bit more expensive? Sure. But one season where he takes that next level is not going to kill you, especially for a guy like that. Like,
especially for a guy that is expressing interest in wanting to stay here.
That's it, which I appreciate. Give me that. Give me someone who cares. And no matter what Alex Cora said, I know some people think he was too hard on him at the end of last year. Cora knows what buttons he's pushing. And he clearly pushed the right button with Verdugo. So let's see it play out. Let's see if he can be, 2020 Verdugo, who got MVP votes. If he can turn anywhere in that vicinity, sure. Give him, a nice deal. The Benintendi deal, $575. I'd be happy with that.
Also, Verdugo told you himself that it worked.
Yeah. Like, he's like, yeah, you pissed me off. And I needed to get a little pissed off.
In the right way.
That's it.
He wasn't insulted by it. It was like, okay, this is constructive criticism, something that is going to light a fire under me, and I can take that into the offseason. And now I know the things that I need to address to be better, to be the player that you want me to be. I think the quote was like, at some point, you're just you're tired of hearing about the player that you're expected to be or that they hope that you become. Like, at some point, you just want to become that player. And he's at that point now. He's not a rookie. He's not a prospect. He's still a young player, but he's definitely at a point now where it's like, okay, like Mookie was winning MVPs by your age.
And, I don't think obviously he'll ever be at that level. And I'm not saying you're saying that either, but
I would never compare him to Mookie Betts. I'm just saying that, like, he's 26. When will he turn 27? In May. He'll be 27 in May.
It's time.
Like, by then, like, you're at like established big leaguer age. Like, by 27, you almost are what you are. You've almost, in most cases, not with everyone, by 27, 28, we've seen your best statistical season.
I think you look at it and it's like, can he do what Benintendi did? And I don't see a reason why he can't be as good as Benintendi, if not better. It's just, you need to stay healthy. Like, it's awesome that he stays on the field, but like, played through a hairline fracture in his toe, shoulder impingement that hurt his arm. He's going to be playing right field this year. Hey, if you're kind of not playing serious out there with the new rules, guys are going to be going first to third like crazy on you. So yeah, you need to be ready to play a very competent right field. And I think the Red Sox would look at it and they need to start locking some more guys up longer term here so they have foundational pieces. As we talked about, it's not the same level as a Duran or a Delbeck, but if Verdugo doesn't do much this year, he's probably not sticking around another year. They're probably going to go another direction at that point because they have a guy in Yoshida who has, at least from a hitting style, a very similar, profile. So either you take a step this year or you'll move out and they'll go another route. And as we know, the front office, there's guys in there that were very upset with him last year, very disappointed. So we saw what happened with Benintendi. He got shipped out for that reason. You've gotten the extra chance here. Don't waste it. And I think he knows playing in a city like this is what makes a player like him kind of be even more marketable. Like Alex Verdugo in Kansas City.
Yeah.
No one's feeling
Benny
Verdugo.
Don't give a fuck about being marketable.
No.
You don't give a fuck about that.
But Verdugo, who's kind of like, he has that star personality. You put that in friggin' Boston, we seen it. Mm-hmm. We saw it during the playoffs. Yep. Your cousin from Boston, whatever, like all that bullshit. The walk-off against the Yankees last year, or the walk-off against the Guardians a couple years ago. Like, Verdugo can bring energy to a ball club. Just need a little more consistently.
Mm-hmm.
What about Houck? Are you down for an extension? Does it mean anything to you?
I got to see it. Coming off a
agree.
major back surgery. Obviously, I love Tanner Houck. I love what he brings to the table. I think we got to find out what the fuck his role is. He's in the mix right now as one of 7 potential starting pitchers will more than likely end up in the bullpen.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a multi-inning role. Cora said most likely if he ends up back there because they want the most innings out of him as possible.
Yeah, but now he's not being asked to be the closer of this team, so it's kind of like what happened to Matt Barnes, where it's like, yeah, you went out there and you closed, like, you know, that was fine, but no one really looked at you as like, all right, now we've got our closer. It was just thanks for filling in because we don't fucking have anyone else. That's what happened to Matt Barnes when he was an all-star in 2021. So it's like, it's good to know that you have the experience and you can do that. You can pitch in high leverage situations in the 8th and 9th innings. That's awesome because we can use you in the 7th sometimes, or we could use you for the 6th and the 7th, or the 7th and the 8th. It's the Garrett Whitlock role, which is not being filled by Garrett Whitlock
because he can be a very good starter. But when it comes
we hope so. We hope so. No, we hope so.
We'll see.
We hope so.
They're taking him along slow, so that's another thing. But I think with Houck, like, if he's willing to agree to a deal similar that Whitlock would do, I'd be pretty interested. I just don't think he'd be super interested in it. Like, if you want a reliever kind of contract with incentives if you become a starter, awesome. I think the Red Sox have told you, sorry, we prefer Garrett Whitlock as a starter over you already. I do think he could stick as a closer, but I think, first off, I think he's the best arm in the bullpen. Out of all the arms back there, I think he's better than Kenley. I think he's better than Schreiber. Yep. I think he's better than Chris Martin. I think he is the best arm. He solidified the 9th inning at the end of last year. And the reason they're going to use him this year in that multi-inning role, he's going to be a fireman. It's like, hey, we need a jam. We need 2 innings or whatever it may be. Come Andrew Miller us. Come be our Andrew Miller.
He's going to be like a better Cutter Crawford.
Yeah. Or what Garrett Whitlock was. Like, come give me 2-ish innings, 3 innings, and let's get it done.
I'm saying, like, the fucking role that they had Cutter Crawford in for a decent amount last year, where it was just like, all right, I guess we're going to Cutter Crawford now out of the bullpen. But I think, to your point, I don't know that he wouldn't necessarily be interested in a deal comparable to what Garrett Whitlock got, because the sample size isn't huge, and you are coming off a major back injury. I think you have to take the human element into account here. You were on the operating table. You're like, this was a major back surgery. What if I'm not the same? Like, what if you just slid that piece of paper right in front of him right now? And it's like, you could suck for the rest of your fucking life, but you can secure your financial future right now if you want to. You can be the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball. We could release you tomorrow, but here, what are the terms of Whitlock's deal? What was it again?
4 years, $18.75, and it bought out 2 free agent years as well on team options.
But Garrett Whitlock,
I think the incentives can make it like $40 million or something.
He got a $1 million signing bonus. Last year he got $1 million. This year he gets 3.25. 25 he gets 5.25. 26 he gets 7.25. 27 is a club option for 8.25 with a $1 million buyout. Then in 28. $10.5 million club option with a $500,000 buyout. Options may increase up to $4 million each based on innings and awards.
Borderline, if he is just an elite reliever at the end of the day, he'll be worth that money. $10 million in 2028. Like, come on. Kenley's getting 8 right now. Right. For what it is. I think Houck might just sit there, and where I'd be a little nervous is if he's like, you guys probably told Whitlock, like, yeah, we're going to give you your real chance to start. I don't know if the Red Sox would give Houck that opportunity, because I think they've kind of told us with, hey, we're shopping him a little bit during the offseason. We were willing to listen on him. Whitlock wasn't getting that treatment. And then I think on top of it, when it comes to Tanner Houck as a whole, they were very careful with exposing him multiple times through a lineup when he was starting pretty consistently.
He never
started
saw
this
the
year.
lineup a third time.
No, they refused to because he was trying to develop that splitter, and he says for the second offseason in a row, he's made huge strides. Everybody
took
says
him out of
that.
the game with a fucking no-hitter.
That's it. So I think they have Whitlock at a certain pedestal, and he deserves to be on that pedestal. I wonder if Houck sometimes feels like a little bit like the second choice, which is fine. Hey, go the Braves route if you're the Red Sox. Try to get as many of these deals done, because Tanner Houck's going to be a good pitcher in this league, whether it's a back-end starter where he'll be fine, or whether it's an elite bullpen weapon. You kind of got to pick your poison.
You know what? I'm going to ask Tanner Houck to come on the podcast next week.
Whoa.
I'm gonna ask him to come on next week.
Why aren't you? Do you have a closer relationship to him that you're not scared to ask a favor?
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's very low key, very like that's why when I say slide the piece of paper in front of him and see what he says, he's a very like simple man. Like him and his wife, I talked about this before. Like him and his wife live the perfect, like I'm jealous of what they have. They I want to say like they moved in together like during the pandemic and they just live in a small space and they just like to like watch their shows and hang out and like do stuff. They like to stay inside. Like it's not like Tanner Houck is not Alex Verdugo where he's like, all right, I'm going to get this big like chain and these grills and like I need this like mansion. Like I think he's just a very simplistic man. And I think that $18 million over the next 5 years, he'd be like, fuck yeah. You know?
Well, and he gets to be with his best friend, right? Like we know the relationship him and Garrett Whitlock have, and that's kind of built over the last couple of years. It'd probably be nice to be able to depend and have that kind of certainty and say, listen, my boy's here. The Red Sox, I'm pitching in one of the best places you're ever going to find or call home. Let's see where it rides. It's just, if it really is about him wanting to be a starter, I don't know if that's what you're most likely going to get here.
Yeah.
You know, because you just kind of look, it's like Whitlock, okay. Bayo, obviously, is ahead of you on the chain. After that, like Chris Sale has another year here. James Paxton will be gone. Corey Kluber will be gone. Maybe there is a road to it. Maybe in a year or two, they can say, hey, here's the opportunity. Brian Mata, like, is he going to be a starter? Probably not, but maybe. You know, he walks 5/9, so that's not a great place to be. But Brandon Walter could be a starter. Who knows? Cutter Crawford, I think, was someone who gets slept on in general for what he did in the middle of last summer. That could start. There might be a role. There might be a way to say, not this year, but maybe next year.
Sure. And even just like as a multi-inning relief type guy, I look at those numbers and say, even if you're not a starter, I'm happy to pay you that if because he is a strikeout guy. Like you look at a guy like Tanner Houck, and how often are you calling to the bullpen because like, man, I really need a ground ball right here. Like, no, you're hoping to get strikeouts. And you know what Tanner Houck does? He strikes guys out. Really good slider. He's got a really good fastball. Yeah, I would have that conversation with him. Which maybe, hey, you know what? Let's negotiate Tanner Houck's contract on the podcast. I don't know if he's going to say yes next week. I will be going down to Fort Myers on Saturday. I don't know what my schedule is going to look like, so I don't know. Like maybe it is something where, you know, because I don't like we're shooting for like a pro for Nesson while I'm down there, and some stuff we're probably going to get done during the day. But then if it's like, all right, well, you know, one night we might go to Top Golf with one of the guys. So I don't know. Like I don't know what my schedule is going to look like. But if it lines up, I would like to talk to Tanner Houck.
Please, we can get this deal done. If Heim can't close it, get him on the podcast. We'll close it right now.
Done deal. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Oh, I'm sorry in advance. I was talking about how everything had gone perfect last episode, and then we wake up the next day. Pavetta's crouched over because he's fighting COVID or, you know, symptoms afterwards.
I thought he was just sick.
So Cotillo reported that it was COVID. Heyman reported it as an illness. I think Cotillo spilled the actual beans on it. But he seems fine. He dropped out of the WBC. They're just going to take him slow. The big thing is Bayo and his forearm. Threw up to 90 feet today. Has a bullpen on Sunday. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I saw people like were freaking out about Bayo. It's like, you just need to take that one day at a time.
I will say, based on the way the Red Sox medical staff has said things are okay in the last year, I understand why people were scared. I'm still nervous.
Don't be.
I'll try not to be.
I feel like there would be more ominous tweeting going on if it were worse.
I want to see him start throwing some breaking balls and stuff before I think I'm super comfortable. You get through that bullpen on Sunday, I feel good. But Pedro was working with him this past week. That was cool, right? Like we were watching him kind of
the
have
other day
moments.
in his press conference. He didn't seem overly concerned about Bayo.
And they didn't have to do imaging. And if you really want to mirror it, Lance McCullers had the same thing, ended up doing imaging, and now he's not going to make it for opening day. So
damn,
the fact that Bayo's already made it farther than him, hopefully that's a good sign because he's going to be one of the main reasons to watch this team this year.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Cotillo just leaking people's medical information.
Classic Cotillo.
Just does not give a shit about HIPAA. HIPAA Cotillo.
I will say, shout out to Cora for dunking on him the other day.
What do you call him? A fat jiggly tits for his ice cream?
Basically,
addiction?
like that was actually exactly what came out of his mouth.
I figured he would. It's true though.
I'm no one to speak. I appreciate your body, Cotillo. I'm built like you.
No, you're not. He looks terrible. Like you wear it well.
That I don't want that.
What do you mean you don't want that?
I wear it well.
Would you like you?
You told me I'm fat, but I hide
That's
it.
not what I said, Jake. Did I call?
He
Tyler
said that
fat?
word for word, Jake. Do
Did
not
I
agree with him.
fucking call him fat?
You said that.
I didn't hear him say it.
I
Fuck
didn't
you,
say it.
Jake.
Well, I didn't.
Wrap
I
it
just said
up.
you wear it well. That means that
Nope.
you don't look. You look svelte.
What'd you call me?
Svelte.
That is the most insulting thing I think I've ever heard in my life. I don't even know
Why?
what it means. It just sounds mean.
It's not. That's not mean. It means like you're like
Rotund?
no. It means you're like a socially acceptable husky.
I'm Pablo Sandoval.
No,
That's cool.
no, he's fat. I would call him fat. I wouldn't call you fat. I would just say like you're a thicker boy.
I'm thick like Yoshida's calves.
Yeah, you're like Mike Avilas's calves. Yeah.
I feel better now. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're juicy.
All right, let's reel it back in.
You're like a hard juicy. You know what I mean?
Hard and juicy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard and juicy, baby.
Yeah. You're fucking hard and juicy, Tyler. Let's stay positive. Not fat, hard and juicy, baby. Hashtag hard and juicy. Another
My mentions are
positive
gonna be a mess.
podcast in the books. We're going to work on Tanner Houck next week. Heading
Deal's
down to
already
Fort
done.
Myers on Saturday. Spring training. I'm going to be tweeting videos and pictures from at least 200 yards. More again, Tyler.
Please.
I'm going to be tweeting pictures and videos from at least 200 yards away from all the shit that's happening on the field, as is tradition. That's what we do down in Fort Myers. More updates to come. Jake, any final words?
Hard and juicy, baby.
Hard and juicy, baby. Let's go. All right. We'll see you down there.
Buenas noches, amigos.